Alright, I want you to imagine a scenario. You have two pieces of animation in front of you. The first is Snow White, the first cel-animated feature-length film that launched the Disney empire. The second is the Albuquerque fan-animated music video. Which one did more for animation as a whole? More importantly, which one has Jerry's Bait Shop? You know the place.
You know the place.
That's what I'm saying.
Whether you're a TikTok artist making ADHD jokes, an Irish kid making fun of The Simpsons, or a 30-year-old making a character study stemming from a glass of cum, I love online animation. Although I wish the last example was a little less racist.
I mean, for crying out loud, people, do I look like a dang racist to you?
Because storing dead Zergans is my fucking business, that's why.
Don't answer that!
Animation is not just a part of the internet, it is synonymous with it. If YouTube didn't pull Newgrounds animators to the site with AdSense, the way that we view the internet would be completely different from how we view it today. But even though animation has been a vital part of YouTube, it hasn't always been treated that way. I'd say from like 2013 to 2015 was the worst possible time to be an animation YouTuber. There was no dominant trend that came out from this time because YouTube was not lucrative enough to build careers for animators. If anything, popular animators were quitting to join the Let's Play market. The only channels I can think of that tried to release animation at this time were compilation channels that hosted web series. And when you think of animated web series in the 2010s, of course, you think of Shut Up cartoons. I didn't grow up with them though, so I'll settle for this, I guess. Who remembers Channel Frederator? The giant channel that was your one-stop shop for animation news, facts, and theories in 2015. And if you wanted to see actual animation, you could head down to their spin-off channel, Cartoon Hangover, home of giants like Puppycat and Bravest Warriors. These channels were huge for their time. If you were into art in the early to mid-2010s, you watched Channel Frederator. 10 years later, who remembers Channel Frederator? I mean, like, they're still active, but not even close to the level they were at their peak. What happened? Okay, besides the obvious. Today, let's explore how Channel Frederator became a revolutionary failure.
Let's go find my dad.
Hunger make you eat your words instead, nigga. Watch that ego make your head bigger. I'm off the wall like a wet sticker. I hit the curb to get this bread thicker. I'ma get it like I said, since the splits got the room spinning. Deleting mail, making room for some new business.
Alright, so you're a dude who likes cartoons in the 80s. How do you find new aspiring animators from the comfort of your home? Turn on the TV. Wrong! This was the 80s. There was no easy way to find animated short films by newbies. Animation was dominated by toy commercials like He Is a Man, or The Consequences of Large Oil Manufacturers. That all changed in 1991 when MTV premiered Liquid Television, a showcase of animated shorts by independent artists. The series was not only successful in platforming new artists, but giving us the most well-known cartoons of the 90s. Hell, Beavis and Butthead came from this showcase, and one man who really latched onto this idea was Fred Seibert. While he didn't work on Liquid Television, Fred was a creative director who helped create MTV's legendary branding. I have to acknowledge that this man should be known for more than just cartoons. He is a driving force for marketing platforms as uncompromised artistic expression. For God's sakes, he was an angel investor in Tumblr. Tumblr, guys! Imagine where the platform would be now without his help. Maybe he could have stopped it. He definitely saw the potential for another show like Liquid Television, so when he became the president of Hanna-Barbera in 1992, he did what most executives do and stole an idea from a previous client. If Jeffrey Katzenberg can make a Bug's Life pedophile cut, then the sky's the limit. That joke doesn't make sense. Bug's Life has Kevin Spacey in it. What a Cartoon helped jumpstart Cartoon Network from a Hanna-Barbera rerun channel to the next powerhouse in the animation industry. The entire 90s Cartoon Network catalog can be traced back to here. Powerpuff Girls, Dexter's Lab, Cow and Chicken, Family Guy. Yeah, really, Family Guy. Sometime after What a Cartoon began, Hanna-Barbera got bought out by Time Warner and Fred left the company. But not long after he exited, MTV Networks gave him an offer he couldn't refuse. Because, like The Godfather, because Paramount owns MTV Network, and also Paramount owns the. All Fred had to do was do what he did with Cartoon Network for Nickelodeon. After all, why not? Third verse exactly the same as the first one. Frederator Studios was founded in 1997, and a year later, Oh Yeah Cartoons premiered to the world. Like What a Cartoon before it, it was successful in finding new talents for Nick. We got classics like Fairly Odd Parents, My Life as a Teenage Robot, and Chalk Zone. Sweet old Chalk Zone. Alright, look.
Look here! Look, listen!
I'm not a millennial. I'm not trying to go, remember Bobby's World?
It was a good show!
I'm just trying to show you Fred's business strategy. Find new artists, let them experiment. If they're good, give them jobs, reap the benefits, repeat. In the age of content curation, this business model was going to come up eventually. It's a win-win for everyone. The consumer gets the show they want, the artist gets their idea on TV, and if it doesn't go to series, then, you know, hey, at least you made something. Now it's time to introduce Fred Seibert's good friend, Steve Jobs. Fred did not know Steve Jobs.
No, he got his phone in his balls. Steve Jobs did not die for this.
In 2005, Frederator Studios dropped Channel Frederator, a cartoon video podcast series released exclusively to iTunes. When the 5th gen iPod came out, Apple added video functionality. Everyone knows that. What people may forget is that this generation also added the ability to platform podcasts, which were audio and video files that were broadcast over an RSS feed. Specifically with video podcasts, since Apple had its own dedicated DRM, web series were difficult to put onto iTunes because you can't just put a .mov on an iPod. The video podcast market was a workaround for most creators and allowed series like Mega 64 to exist on the platform.
I'm a reporter. For who? Just the press.
Channel Frederator acted as a mini Adult Swim on the go, as it was a 15-minute showcase for animated short films. Frederator would find new artists, let them experiment, if they're good, give them jobs, reap the benefits, repeat. I'm getting deja vu. The podcast was a huge success and led to the launch of spin-offs like Frederator, a podcast for public domain cartoons. Oh hey look, it's Popeye. Wait, what the fuck? Why is he killing people? Naturally, the series was re-uploaded onto a YouTube channel of the same name in 2007. But that wasn't all that was uploaded. The channel also hosted their first completely original series, the Meth Minute 39. I had a few Meth Minutes of my own, and let me tell you, they were not pleasant. The series was the brainchild of Dan Meth. You're fucking with me, that's not his name. They'd also host original cartoons and web vlogs. Whatever these earlier pieces of content were is a Schrodinger's cat because these videos were not archived and are private on the channel.
Editor myth here. Some of the videos are archived on the Internet Archive, but it was really up to chance to actually get them to work within the player. They're literally just talking about random Flash cartoons. It's very boring.
It reminds me of Walter and Perry from Home Movies.
Things would start to change for Channel Frederator in the early 2010s. The podcast was shut down in 2011 because production on the iPod Classic was phased out. It turns out the iPhone was successful in being a multimedia device that can access the internet. Who would have thought? By that point, they were only showing one short per episode anyway. This didn't mean that Frederator would get away from offering digital content, however. Quite the opposite. Frederator would ramp up production for original online animation, this time on YouTube. And what a great time to do that. YouTube was personally funding channels who were pushing for TV quality content. It was all part of their YouTube Original Content Initiative, a program launched in 2012 that cost $100 million? What the fuck? It failed and died within 2 years, but we'll put a pin in that. The result of this partnership was the channel Cartoon Hangover, and with it, 2 animated shows aired in the fall of 2012. One of them was Super Fuckers, an adaptation of the indie comic of the same name. I didn't watch this show, and no one I knew watched this show because they put it on another channel that was advertised as more hardcore, which, you know, kind of defeats the point of making an adult animation channel because why would you feel the need to censor yourself?
Well, that's because you're an idiot, Ultra Richard. You live in a paradise of your own mental shit.
Wow! Alright, I sold long enough. Remember Bravest Warriors? It was a good show! In 2007, Pendleton Ward made a pilot for an obscure show. You may not have heard of it. It's called Adventure Tim. That pilot aired on another Nickelodeon incubator called Random Cartoons. This show was less successful than Oh Yeah, but it also had the pilot for Fanboy and Chum Chums, so compare your goat to mine and then kill yourself. Since Adventure Time was so successful online, Penn got the chance to develop another pilot for the show, which he named the Bravest Warriors. The pilot radiates the second pitch for a show that's not a passion project, but the production studio asks you for another pitch anyway. Not to say the pilot is bad, it honestly does a better job at setting up the world than Adventure Time did in its pilot, but the Bravest Warriors pilot very clearly has a formula. The Bravest Warriors, consisting of Beth, Chris, Danny, and Wallow, go to a planet and help out the inhabitants with an alien life form. It's a classic Monster of the Week story. The pilot for Adventure Time felt like it could go anywhere, almost to a fault. However, Bravest Warriors almost has the opposite problem. It could get very tedious as an 11-minute series. I could see why Nickelodeon didn't pick it up. Fast forward a few years and Adventure Time is hot shit. Content, and Frederator wants a bigger piece of the stench. They decided to revive that idea Penn gave them as its own 5-minute web series. Since Penn was busy with Adventure Time, they decided to get Bream Burns to act as showrunner. Bream Burns was the creator of Dr. Tran, and he also wrote for Dead Time Stories, which is a pretty good MTV pilot. Speaking of Dr. Tran, remember Dick Figures? I gotta talk about Dick Figures soon. Anyways, there's Bigger Time to Slime.
Hey, what the hell, bro? I have always wanted to do this.
The formula is still there in the first season. The gang has to solve a sci-fi problem, whether it be an alien that causes mass amnesia, or an old man with powers named the Emotion Lord. Hey, wait a minute, they call Chris the Lord of Emotions in the pilot.
Hurrah! Lord of Emotions, teach us how to cry.
Foreshadowing is a literary device and
there's also a story that gets teased about the characters finding their parents trapped in the see-through zone. That story isn't explored in the first season, it's just an excuse for these characters to help aliens. Some of the episodes explore genuinely interesting science fiction. The first episode is about a time loop that overlaps with the current timeline, so our main characters are always 5 Glendalian minutes behind their previous counterparts. The moon they visit is called Glendale, and I honestly find that really funny. That's actually a cool idea, and the episode explores it in an interesting fashion. Don't get your hopes up though, the show still has plots that are undoubtedly stupid, like The Bunless, an episode about Chris and Beth trying to make alien spirits fall in love, and the spirits possess their butts and make them big. Even as a 9-year-old, I thought this was lame. The worst of the show just feels like rejected Adventure Time bits, and I'm sorry I'm comparing two sister shows, but if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it probably is a duck. The thing that makes Adventure Time's humor work is the balance between random nonsense and deadpan delivery. Bravest Warriors leans harder on being loud and random for shock value. I think nonsense being treated as normal is funnier than nonsense being treated as nonsense. Even though I've been very negative so far, I still find this series enjoyable.
Hey computer, load Beth hologram. Make her a princess. And make her like, 30% sexier than normal. What? You're right, Chris. 30's not enough. 40%.
9,000%!
Oh, no!
Kill it!
I'm next.
The characters have an immediately recognizable dynamic, and it's easy to fall in love with them individually. Wallow is just the absolute sweetest. I would do anything for him. I thought Catbug would be really annoying, but honestly, no. Shout out to Sam Levinino for giving a cute kid performance that isn't grating. The first season was not the best start, but there was potential. I think season 2 is the actual peak of the show. The humor is tighter, the stories are consistently good, and there's a greater focus on the overarching plot. The show really starts coming into its own. There was nowhere but up for this show to go. And then seasons 3 and 4 happened, but let's put a pin in that. Bravest Warriors was all the talk of 2013.
Hey, Vsauce, Michael here. I've been watching Bravest Warriors.
My cousins loved it. Shout out to them. Even the one that stole the laptop. You dirty motherfucker. Frederator was not going to stop at just one show and started making efforts to fund other online productions. The one that you probably know best is Being Puppycat, created by Natasha. Didn't I just talk about you?
Dwayne, get out my fucking comment section!
2013, Cartoon Hangover premiered 2 cool cartoons. With this series, Frederator would find new artists, let them experiment. There's that deja vu again. There are some cool shorts in here, like Blackford Manor, but there are only 2 shorts that made it into shows. One was Dead End, which, to be honest, I don't care for. The other one was the only double-length short, Being Puppycat. I realize now this is the second video in a row where I'm talking about a cartoon that Natasha Allegri had a hand in creating. I promise this is a coincidence. The show is about Bee, a woman in her 20s who comes across a weird pussy dog and now has to do temp drops across space. The pilot to Being Puppycat is perfect for the internet. Bravest Warriors was a TV pilot that got turned into a web series. You could put it on sci-fi if you tried. Meanwhile, Being Puppycat had a niche audience that was too small for cable TV. It's too cutesy for Adult Swim and too boring for Cartoon Network. Not to say having a specific audience is bad, but it's very risky. It's a monotone comedy like King of the Hill, about being a directionless 20-something a la Downtown, but also has elements of Sailor Moon. Those 3 shows shouldn't go together, and Being Puppycat makes it work. Bee has this constant surprise and curiosity about everything that makes her constantly charming. On top of that, the pilot is hilarious and constantly throws quotables at you. You took too long, now your candy's gone. Is up there with all-time bangers like I make the devil hit his knees, say the Our Father. Get Shorty out of here, she's built like a J Electronica verse.
Sick reference though, bro.
Oh, thanks, bud.
Dude, your references are out of control. Everyone knows that.
There's also this amazing score by Baths that perfectly captures the chilled out atmosphere. Frederator. It's just an amalgamation of everything that Natasha loves, and it comes together like peanut butter and jelly and bacon. Being Puppycat was the only pilot from Hangover as of making this video to receive over 10 million viewers. It's fair to say that even though Bravest Warriors was more popular at the time, Being Puppycat became a true cult classic. Of course Frederator was going to make a full production. This is 2013 though, so help came from Kickstarter, where it raised almost $900,000. Considering half the biggest Kickstarter stories are literal scams, this campaign went fine. The show was anticipated to air within fall next year, and 4 out of the promised 9 episodes did air by 2014. They even added 1 extra episode, so now it's 10. They keep up the quality of the pilot, but honestly, I don't want to harp on that fact because I can make a more in-depth analysis of Being Puppycat later down the line. Anyways, call those other 6 episodes a donkey because we need to put a pin in those. Hey, it's been a while. How's Channel Frederator doing? How did Channel Frederator follow up their flagship series? They didn't. They basically took that original concept and applied it to Cartoon Hangover. What they did do with Channel Frederator is turn it into an MCN. Back in the day, the YouTube Partner Program was a lot more selective than it is now. An MCN, or multi-channel network, acted as both a middleman for the Partner Program and as kind of a talent agency. In theory, they were a helpful tool for small channels to gain exposure, but in practice, 99% of their client base were teenagers scammed into perpetual contracts that gave these networks money for doing literally nothing. Even if your video was re-uploaded to their channel, they have a dozen videos being uploaded a day, so the chance that people see yours is lower than if you just uploaded it to your channel. Hence they, oh yeah! Frederator saw this trend and said, wow, that's cool and awesome. I want to do it too. I think of their most famous people, they hired Ginger Pale, Domix, Jaden Animations, Rebel Taxi, Ben the Looney. They hired Ben the Looney, you know, the guy who made the Adolf Hitler spotlight. That sounds weird, right? Just hearing me say it. Imagine me learning about it. They hired the Adolf Hitler guy.
Let me present to you the wonderful artwork of Adolf Hitler.
I just can't do it. Like, every time I look at you, I feel like I got COVID.
In terms of being an MCN, they were passable. They're still an MCN, so they pull off moves like hiring Ben the Looney. But I don't think anyone has made the truth about Channel Frederator, unless people, you know, sign a non-disparagement clause when they sign up, which is definitely a thing that happens. As for the channel itself, I don't know. Channel Frederator in 2015 was not an animation channel. It's a channel about animation, very distinct difference. Let's put another pin in for that YouTube algorithm. Basically, it was more viable at the time to make videos about animation than it was to actually make animation. And yeah, Frederator sure had content about animation. The best way to describe this channel is a step above Watch Mojo, but a step below BuzzFeed. 107 Facts was their biggest show, in which they would spout facts about a show or film. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. These fact videos were shit. It's cool to learn fun facts about something you love, but this is such an inconvenient way to get information, both for the viewer and the one curating the facts. You mix up notes and suddenly you either include information that isn't relevant.
Number 3. Fort's name is an anagram of the word brat.
Information that is extremely basic.
Number 2. It premiered in 1989.
Or flat out misinformation.
Number 62. If Squidward reminds you of someone on occasion, it may be because he's sometimes voiced by Dan Castanella, the same actor who voices Homer Simpson.
Why don't you back it up with a source? My source is that I made it the fuck up.
The most recent facts video I heard about was this Butters video that was so bad people thought it was AI and Frederator had to delete it. Other than that, a lot of fast fact videos on YouTube are dead, and for good reason. The other show was Cartoon Conspiracy. Remember how people were obsessed with making all these dark theories for kids shows? Yeah, this was patient zero for learning about those theories. While y'all were watching Shane Dawson talk about 9/11, I had Jacob talk about how Grinch committed mass murder. We share the same scars, but we are not the same beasts.
The World Trade Center did not actually collapse because the trains hit it.
The thumbnails for this series are really funny. Like real, does he know? Why is he lying type shit. I can't deny rewatching these videos wasn't the least bit fun. There was a third series I should mention, the Complete Timeline series. This series came out after I stopped watching the channel. From what I've seen, it's fine. It's just a chronological summary of everything that happened in a long-running show. If you want to learn more about the lore without having to delve through wikis, it's better than nothing. Hey, speaking of timelines, you know what they have? Points. And what else has points? Pins. Let's talk about those 4 pins. I have 3 in here, but I had to add another pin for a YouTube original content initiative. Just pretend I said 4 and that I didn't fuck up my pick. The first pin I want to talk about is the history of the YouTube recommendation algorithm. Before 2012, The YouTube algorithm was based on views. The more views you got, the more that you were recommended in the YouTube algorithm. Okay, so like, you could probably think of a million exploits with this system off the top of your head. You could just put boobs in the thumbnail, and it didn't matter if your video was a terrible skit, they still got your view. YouTube then publicly changed the algorithm to favor watch time. If your video was longer, you're rewarded for making people stay on the site. It solved the clickbait problem, and it helped give a huge boost to gaming channels like PewDiePie, but there were still a lot of problems with it. Channels that created shorter content like skits or animations did not fare well in this system. YouTube was asking people to make a minimum of 1 video per week, and unless you sacrifice fidelity, animators were not able to make high quality animations independently within a week. Blech.
There you go, good quality entertainment.
The system was eventually phased out when people realized just how long your video needed to be for YouTube to recommend it, so people would create 3-minute outros, and then this guy named Leafy was a thing. The current system we have now is a lot more cryptic. It's based on a combination of SEO, retention, and machine learning. For example, if you're on YouTube for the first time and you look up Knights of Guinevere, you will get videos based around animation or art. Very simple, dissuades clickbait, and feeds into what the viewer wants. Now, what does all this have to do with Channel Frederator and Cartoon Hangover? Pin time! In 2012, YouTube launched the Original Content Initiative, where they gave a handful of people around $5 million to create television quality content. A lot of these channels tried to apply a traditional media pipeline to the online digital space. It didn't work for like 90% of them, because trying to turn YouTube into something heavily moderated and corporate has always backfired.
Guys, let's do the In My Feelings challenge, right?
However, the channels that survived were able to capture the audience in the short term. In Cartoon Hangover's case, the reason that they didn't have to worry about animation being lost in the shuffle is because in animation television, you try to stockpile as many episodes as possible for a show so that it can consistently come out every year. Invincible, for example, is able to release 8-hour-long episodes a year because they usually work on multiple seasons at a time. So season 4 is coming out next year, but season 5 is already close to starting animation, if not already started. Within a few years, Cartoon Hangover released Bravest Warriors Season 1, the first half of 2 cool cartoons, Bravest Warriors Season 2, the second half of 2 cool cartoons, and the first half of Being Puppycat. That's a 6-minute cartoon every week. Ask that of a small animator and you sleep with Bobby Bacala. Oh, don't look at me like that. You had time to watch the show. This business model is foolproof. As long as a steady stream of content comes in, you're able to get consistent watch time and you fill out any gaps with filler. Can Frederator keep this up? Let's bring back those other 2 pins. What was going on with Being Puppycat and Bravest Warriors? For 2 years, we knew that Being Puppycat Season 1 would eventually finish, and that Bravest Warriors Season 3 would eventually come out. When was it coming out, though? No one knew. We got updates, but nothing substantial. We knew Bravest Warriors episodes were going to be double length, but they also told us it was coming in spring 2015. And that spring came and went. Oh well, at least we still have the comics to subsist off of. Oh, they canceled those too? Oh, great! Now all I have to watch is Fin Punch. Actually, I'm very disappointed that not everyone knows about that show, and I can't justify making a segment on it, but it's pretty good. It's underrated. The license ran out for it though, so the show is hard to find. Turns out that the YouTube Original Content Initiative getting canceled meant that Channel Frederator had to sink or swim primarily on YouTube ad revenue. These videos did good, but not $5 million good. Are you fucking kidding me? So that led to their reservoir of content completely drying up by 2015. A lot of fans just thought that getting the show for free was enough and that it was all figured out on Frederator's end, but it clearly wasn't. Things like Kickstarters and merch definitely helped, yeah, but you can't solely rely on Kickstarters or else it looks like you're scamming your fans. And for some reason, Frederator just didn't promote their merch that much. They described the demand for merch as modest, and demand needed to be something a little bit more than modest. That's probably why the comics got canceled. Imagine the demand to make supplementary lore for a series on YouTube that hadn't aired new episodes in a year. Also, Kaboom wasn't paying their artists, but that's besides the point. Fans were left in the dark until summer 2016, when Cartoon Hangover finally gave us a release date for these shows. The rest of Being Puppycat was dropping fall 2016, and Bravest Warriors was dropping January 2017. All on the exclusive app Verve, where you have to pay to watch them.
Cartoon Hangover Select will be the new home for Bravest Warriors and Being Puppycat. More cartoons, more shows of every kind. Cartoon Hangover Select on Verve is currently only available to US residents.
Oh, hey, let's look at the like to dislike ratio on one of these updates. Oh, fuck. So yeah, fans were pissed, and I completely understand why. Imagine you're a kid or outside of North America, and something you like disappears with no good explanation as to why. And then when you finally get an update to where it's been, you learn you can't watch your show because it either isn't being offered in your country, or you're a kid who can't afford a streaming service. And let's be real, a good chunk of the audience was kids. Yeah, Bravest Warriors is technically for adults in the same way SML is technically not based on Nintendo characters. I'm only mentioning SML due to the cursed fact that I discovered that channel the same time I discovered Bravest Warriors.
What's up, nigga?
Can you guys fucking stop? Okay, the episodes air on Verve. Does Verve financially backing Frederator help these shows at all? Being Puppycat was able to premiere on the platform, and while the paid aspect was a letdown, at least people who did watch loved the ending. Bravest Warriors Season 3 did not have that luxury. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't worth a 3-year wait. I think the longer format worked against it. There was more content in the episodes, but also less episodes in general, which meant that if you didn't care for one, then uh-oh, 6 of the season gone. There are very few shows worth waiting 2 years over, and Bravest Warriors proved it wasn't one of them. Actually, no, even if it was good, it didn't matter because Verve sucked ass. Listen, I was one of those kids who didn't like Verve having to pay for like my episodes. I could have gone past that if the app just wasn't fucking terrible. Besides the app being a piece of shit, the strategy for offering content was fundamentally flawed. Verve was a spinoff from Crunchyroll that tried to expand out from anime. It had channels that you could pay a subscription for individually or in bulk. And they were often smaller streaming services with specific niches. They had Mubi with art house films, Boomerang with Cartoon Network shows, Drama Fever with Korean dramas, Geek and Sundry with it's niche nerd content. It's all niche nerd content. I'm not dismissing that fact. I like Courage the Cowardly Dog, but you can't sell a streaming service on only having niche nerd content. One, if I was invested in my niche, I would just pay for the streaming service I wanted to watch directly on its own website. Two, if you're in a competition with Netflix and you have all the niche nerd content in the world, you lose every time. Sometimes I'm just out of it and I want to throw on Training Day. Not Patima Inverted. Your flagship show being Harmon Quest is bad. I'm not saying that an idea like this couldn't work, it just needed to be focused. However, it was too broad to cater to a specific fandom and too inaccessible for the general public. Verve eventually shut down in 2023 as part of consolidation efforts by Crunchyroll's new owner, Sony Entertainment. No one mourned its death, and in my view, it marks the single point in which Channel Frederator died.
He's dead, let's have a funeral.
After moving its animation content to Verve, Cartoon Hangover saw minimal success. They did have other shows that premiered like Shadowstone Park created by Film Cow, but I don't think they got a Kaboom comic. Frederator tried again with another incubator series called Go Cartoons. You know the format by now, but there are two big differences this time around. One of them is that the show is co-produced by Sony Animation, and you think that would net them some positive attention, but keep in mind, this is Sony Animation a year before Spider-Verse. Their biggest movie from this time was the Emoji Movie, a film that Jax Films memed so hard that he got invited to the premiere.
Honey, how do you feel?
Embarrassed.
Well, that makes fun of us.
The other big difference is that nothing from this show was picked up, and that's a shame. I think Welcome to Doozy would have been very comfy. Independent filmmaker Joni Peppers did a short, but the pilot you remember is probably The Summoning. Guess who storyboarded and directed this pilot?
Go do something, man!
I shouldn't give complete credit to Natasha though. The show is actually the brainchild of Elise Castro. She does a good job writing these characters. They're very interesting, and the stuff that they do is very interesting, so yeah, great job, Elise. The Summoning did not become a show, but was adapted into a comic miniseries that came out this year. You may be sad that The Summoning never got animated, but the alternative is literally nothing. I'll take what I can get. Speaking of nothing, how are the flagships doing? Bravest Warriors did get a season 4, but it came with a monkey's paw twist. The 4th season was produced by Nelvana, and the series aired on Teletoon in Canada. That's really cool, but it also means that it's animation produced in Canada, and it looks like it. Breen Burns and the original developers left and got replaced with a roundtable of writers for hire. Not that these writers necessarily do a bad job, but considering the show was so singular in its humor, it just didn't feel the same. Looking at the views for season 4 episodes when they finally uploaded them to YouTube like 5 years later, it goes from almost 100K on the first episode to struggling to even get to 10K by the end. At least it got an ending, but at what cost? Apparently there is going to be a Catbug spinoff, and Ward was going to play a more prominent role in production. There has been no news since the announcement, and it's likely canceled.
Now, where's my big old beer? There you go, yes.
As for being Puppycat, The story is really funny. So in March 2017, Frederator announced a second season co-produced by OLM and was set for 13 22-minute episodes. That second season, subtitled Lazy in Space, was on track to premiere in 2019 on Verve, and it even premiered at Annecy that year. In classic Frederator fashion, 2019 came and went with no explanation for why. Most likely, Frederator's relationship with Verve was already breaking down. It's okay, the season finally dropped in summer 2020. On Vimeo. Fred Seibert accidentally leaked the entire season on Vimeo. Oh my fucking god. The single event ended up being so bad on Fred's part, he left the company. The season was left dormant for 2 years because what are you gonna do with a show that people have already watched unofficially? Thankfully, Netflix gave it a home, and they even remade the YouTube season so that people wouldn't be confused as to what a pussy dog is. The season, which was just renamed to being Puppycat, premiered in 2022, and I loved it. It's not perfect, but in terms of capturing the original surrealism, it does a great job. I don't think the show will get a season 3 because Netflix doesn't want to invest in a show that failed to air twice, but at least you can watch Lazy in Space officially. As for Channel Frederator, it's basically being run by a skeleton crew. In the past few years, the views have been stuck in the tens of thousands. Occasionally the SEO hits and the views will go up a couple 100,000, but it's rare. Unless the channel finds a new cheat code for views, I doubt it will come back, mostly because animation content isn't as prevalent as it was in the 2010s. Maybe when streaming services actually value animation, we can start talking, but we're not. So the biggest development in Frederator is that ownership changed hands a couple times. Currently, they're owned by Cartoon Studios, a company I've never heard of that uses generative AI to produce shows. Okay. Interestingly, Toho International bought a 50% stake in Being Puppycat and Bravest Warriors. You'd think that this would mean a reboot for these shows or something, but no. I guess Being Puppycat crossed over with MXM Tune for a music video, but that's it. Despite the fact that I've been roasting this company the entire video, I genuinely believe what I put in the title. It's not clickbait. Everything Frederator did with Channel Frederator or Cartoon Hangover was unlike anything else at the time. The concept of a TV quality animated show being released for free sounded like a pipe dream at the time, and it was. I'm tempted to say that Frederator is a story about poor management, but even if it was managed perfectly, which it wasn't, online revenue just wasn't there yet. To end this video, I want to mention a show that finally figured out the formula and is definitely the most influential animation of the 2020s. Has-Been Hotel.
I want this nigga hung by jumper cable.
Has-Been Hotel and Hell of a Boss were able to perfect the model for funding content that Frederator wanted. The pilots were funded through Patreon and merch sales, and merch was successful because Vivzy Pop emphasized the fact that merch funded production. She was also transparent on what was happening in production, which made fans more patient when episodes only came out a few months at a time. Hell, Has-Been was able to retain its popularity when it got picked up by Prime Video, because Prime Video is an actual service made for normal people. You could throw on Has-Been Hotel for yourself and then watch No Country for Old Men with your family. It's perfect. It's a model that not only encouraged animation YouTubers to work on original content, but encouraged industry professionals to go to YouTube. The 2020s for animation will be defined by artists going indie, and I don't think that model would be as popular now if Frederator didn't try and fail 10 years ago. Channel Frederator probably won't ever get back to the place it was in 2015, but it deserves a place in animation history for its push for free, TV quality content. Rest easy, Frederator. But if I can make a special request, can you bring Fin Punch back? I know it's hard, but it'll make me happy. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching my video. If you end up liking it, like, comment, subscribe, do all that. There's a bunch of motorcycles outside my place, so I'll make this brief. One, I now have a Twitter, so if you want to see occasional updates, and I don't say occasional lightly, I don't use social media, go follow me there. Also follow me on Blue Sky, follow me on Tumblr. I have a TikTok that I'll occasionally shitpost on. And yeah, that's all it. I think my next video, I might do top 10 albums of 2025. If you guys want to see that, make sure you stick around. And yeah, you guys have a good day. Go enjoy life. Peace out.
Slowly rotating black man.